So there's radioactive poison in your milk now. Is that the story for today? Let me just double check. Yeah, that's the one. So they're putting radioactive poison in your milk. The time is 11:32. But that is how the news would actually function if it was real. If the news actually reported what's going on, that's how the broadcasts would start. You're like, good morning. The time is 11:30. Our top story tonight. Companies are now putting radioactive toxic poison into your milk. The radioactive toxic poison is being added to 90% of dairy farms all over the country. There's nothing you can do about it. It's going to be in all the supermarkets, and they're not going to tell you on the packaging. This is being done under the guise of reducing emissions from the cows. Cows are an animal that has walked the earth for thousands of years, and there's been absolutely no problems whatsoever. Instead, what you get is like, our top story tonight, Greg Wallace is a toad. It's like we didn't know that. You know what I mean? Like Greg Wallace probably isn't just an actor playing a role to distract you from the fact that they're putting toxic poison into your milk. Who knows? That they might even be deliberately telling you that they're toxically poisoning your milk so that the Antichrist can show up and save you from the toxic poison that they've added to your milk. But that's a whole other video. We haven't got time to go into that today. Today we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they've actually been caught poisoning your milk, and they're not deliberately allowed themselves to be caught poisoning your milk. It's not on the mainstream media news, so maybe they are just... I mean, that's where we've come to these days. It's like the small amount of credit I'm able to give the people that run the world is, hey, maybe they really did get caught poisoning your milk. You know? Maybe they're not deliberately getting caught poisoning your milk as part of some psyop. There you go, guys. There you go. Don't say I never credit you with anything. So let me just quickly summarize, first of all, what's actually going on. There's a company called Arla. They're sort of funded or working with Bill Gates in some way, and they've come up with this new sort of feed that they feed to cows that's incredibly toxic, and it's supposed to reduce the methane emissions of the cows. And they tell you that, it's rigorously tested and all this, but I've actually read... I've taken the time to research and actually read the safety document this morning, and it's not rigorously tested at all. I'll read you it right now. Following a request from the European Commission, blah 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 was asked to deliver a scientific opinion on the safety of bova, okay, as an additive for ruminants and milk production, okay? Systematic exposure or site of contact toxicity for the absent subject, 3-nitrooxypropanol, 3-nop, for which genotoxicity has not been fully clarified in the target species, is unlikely based on ADME data available. Consequently, the FEDAP panel concluded that Bova 10 was safe for dairy cows at the maximum recommended level. Now, obviously, when they write these reports, they put all sorts of words and stuff in there, so it's almost impossible for anyone that wants to look at it and say, hang on, what does this actually mean? You have to spend a long time trying to figure out what it actually means. Basically, this is how they always poison you and tell you that it's safe. The governing body that usually always works in some way for the people that are poisoning you in the first place come along and they say, you know, the results have not been fully clarified, but based on the data available, it's unlikely. You know, they use words like this, unlikely, based on the data available. So what they do is, and by the way, I actually looked at the data, right? And what they do is they give this stuff to rats, and then the rats die like a day later. Or in some cases, they give the rats a reduced dose, and then they kill the rats like a day after they have the dose. They never just give the rats the stuff and wait for them to die. The rats are always killed in the experiment before they have a chance to keel over and die. You know, so it's absolutely appalling. And then they look at like the feces and the blood. They see how much radioactivity was in there. And they go, well, there was less radiation in the body of the rat from when it's given it, so we conclude that the rat was definitely able to process this radiation in some way. It's really appalling. It's really appalling. Like, this stuff is not safe at all. And if you read the side effects and this and that, this stuff it's really something that you don't want in your milk. You don't want toxic stuff that will kill you in your milk in any sort of a quantity, especially not when the payoff is it reduces methane emissions, which is something that no one should even really care about anyway. The idea that cows are in some way destroying the planet by just being cows, first of all, is incredibly... it's not biblical. It's not scriptural. Anyone who's a Christian who's like, oh, yeah, we need to start genetically modifying cows because... oh, God must have really messed up when he made cows, right? Because they're not safe. We need Bill Gates to start tampering with cows because God didn't get it right, but Bill Gates does. You know what I mean? So you don't want this stuff in your milk, but you're not being given the choice, are you? It's just being dumped into like 80% of the food supply. And I haven't met anyone who thinks this is a good idea, yet it's out there in like, what is it? Morrison's, Tesco's, Marks and Spencer's. I mean, the list goes on. There's a list go on. But what I think you should do is you just go to your supermarket and just ask to speak to the manager and just say, listen, what's going on with your milk? Is this stuff in there? You know, I think, we need like hundreds of people at every supermarket asking to speak to the manager and clarifying this because we're feeding this stuff to our children. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to play you two videos, okay? One is from a farmer that's using this stuff, and another video is from a farmer who thinks it's disgusting that we're using this stuff. And just let me know, which one of these two farmers do you trust?
I'm Jane.
I'm Adam.
And we run a family dairy farm with 420 cows.
We've been Arla members for the last 10 years and we've been in the Innovation Farm for the last 5.
The latest innovation we're looking at is Bovaer. Bovaer is a feed additive developed by Dutch company DSM that allows farmers to reduce enteric methane emissions from our dairy herds. Enteric methane being what the cows produce during their natural digestive process. Today we've been working with Arla and DSM as part of the Bovaer setup process, learning about what's involved and how we can make the pilot as successful as possible. So the reason we're so excited about Bovaer is it's not just some fairy dust that somebody thinks might make some improvements, but it's been really rigorously and extensively tested.
Trials like these are really important to help reduce our carbon footprint.
We're really pleased that customers are joining us in investing in sustainability on farm.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I still sound a bit awful, but bear with me. I'm really happy this morning. Makes a change, I know. But, oh, Arla. Oh, have you fucked up? Well done, people. I am so happy that people have actually stood up and said, no, we are not having this. It's about time. This is what this industry needs. And it's not just the industry, it's you wonderful people as well.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, which one of these guys looks like a real farmer? One guy's got like a tooth missing and like a holy jumper on in a tractor. The other guys are like, they're literally, do you know what makes me laugh? They're literally standing there with an Arla logo on their jacket and being like, hey, we're so happy about this. It's like, bro, you're literally wearing this company's logo on your clothing. Like you play for like Man United or something. You've got the club badge on you and you're asking me to believe that you're sort of this impartial farmer that actually cares. It's like, this stuff's been rigorously tested. No, it hasn't. No, it has not. They've said, like, based on the data available, we assume that it's unlikely that the stuff will kill you. Whereas, you know, obviously it will. Obviously it does. It's every single rat in the test is dead. Yeah, they killed them on purpose like an hour after, in some cases, after they gave them the dose. But that's the point, isn't it? They don't get to actually die. It's ridiculous, dude. It's absolutely ridiculous. And, you know, I know people think that that people like us that question the radioactive toxic poison that's put into our milk are crazy, or we're conspiracy theorists or something, okay? But there's more and more of us every day. More and more people are just like, wait a minute, what are you putting in my milk? I don't want this in my milk. You know, it's not a conspiracy theory, is it? It's real. They're really putting this stuff in your milk. You can research it yourself. You can find out. And people say, well, why would they be doing this? Listen, have you ever met anyone who has like 10 billion pounds? You ever met anyone like that? Have you ever had lunch with someone? Have you ever spoken to someone who has 10 billion pounds? No, you haven't, have you? Do you know why? Because they wouldn't speak to you. They wouldn't even speak to you. Some hired goon would trample you into the street if you tried to approach them. You know, you've literally got no idea, if you're honest, about how people with 10 billion pounds operate, what they get up to, what they do at parties, how they control politicians, how they control celebrities, you know, who they really work for, whose agenda we're really fighting against here, because it's not flesh and blood that we're fighting here, ladies and gentlemen, on this earth. It's not flesh and blood. Okay? Anyway, that's the poison milk story. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure it really, really boosted your Monday to learn about the poison milk. If you want to support this channel financially, the link is in the description to do so. We need people to do that every single day, because the amount of people that are willing to talk about this kind of stuff, because if you do, you won't be monetized, your channels won't grow, etc., etc. I've made that decision. And, you know, you can either give your money to someone like me, or you can give it to Amazon. It's Black Friday. Like, that's not suspicious at all. That's not weird. Black Friday. Yeah, give it to the Black Friday guys. Go on. Don't give it to me. Give it to Black Friday. All right? See you in the next video. Bye.